Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of That Heartbreak Hogs podcast. Sid, are we feeling better today?
No, about the same. We'll see.
Hey, man, we're
Not any
we're we're
better.
gonna try to have fun here and just kind of set some goals for this team after what happened. Not dwell too much on what happened, but or not specifically on Oklahoma State because we already did a video on that. But we're going to take some of the stuff from that Oklahoma State game and kind of talk about it moving forward, what this could be telling us about the season and what needs to be improved. And again, what some of this could mean for the rest of the season, because I saw a lot from that game that worried me and some things that I really liked as well.
Check out that video if you haven't seen it. I recorded that video right after the game, and it was fresh in our minds, and had a deep analysis on it. So go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. I mean, Sid and I let them boys have it, but I thought that there were some things that were brought up that were necessary about that game, and I don't know. I think it was pretty entertaining, but it's time to get back on that, a little bit of positivity here, a little bit more of like a goal setting. I don't know if it's necessarily positivity. We're going to be honest. We're not going to just pump sunshine. We're going to be honest about things, but we're also going to be, try to have fun with this at the same time because, we just want to have fun. I mean, as fans, we want to enjoy watching these things and we enjoy talking about the Hogs. But if you guys haven't already, if this is your first time here or if you've seen a couple of our videos, please follow us on our social medias like X and Instagram. Interact with us on X. On that space, we'd love to follow you guys back if you're interacting with us and just to build a community and get our content out there because we do have fun doing these things and it takes time and fighting the algorithms is tough. It's hard to get your content out there whenever you're not backed up by, a big media company. And this is just two regular Hog fans, having a good time and talking about Razorback sports.
Yep, I agree with all of that. And yep.
All right. Well, I guess with that, let's get into it, Sid. What were some things that you saw from the game? And let's not talk too much about what we didn't like, not the Oklahoma State part of it, because we've already gone over that, but just how what happened will translate into the rest of the season. What were some things that you saw that needed correcting from moving forward? Like moving forward, what do you want to see corrected? Are the things that you want to see in this UAB game that you're like, I'm looking for these things to happen in this UAB game?
There are a lot of questions you're throwing at me. So we'll start off. We'll start off one at a time. We'll go on a positive note here.
Yeah.
Based off of the two games that I saw, Oklahoma State and UAPB, both of them, if I combine it, right? I think the positive side that I see from both of these games is that we went in with a plan to execute. Yep. And I think for both of these games, I know what you're going to say about the Oklahoma State game, but I think personally, I think both of these games, we executed the plan perfectly.
Yep.
With the game plan that we went in. Now, here's a negative side, right? When the things don't go our way, that's when we fall apart. Even though we're executing the plan perfectly, as soon as things start going against our way, it's that adversity we are not able to overcome. We completely fall apart, and I think it's great that we're going into these games so far with a plan and we're executing. But now going forward with not just UAB, but like going for the rest of the season, Auburn after that, as soon as we start facing that adversity, I hope we don't face it in UAB, but as soon as we start facing that adversity in Auburn or the games after that, Tennessee and whatnot, but as soon as we start facing that, let's not crumble. Let's find ways to win. And that's when we need to figure it out with the key, like while keeping the game plan that we have in mind, executing it. But if that game plan, something happens, make sure to keep that game plan in mind. Make sure to continue executing it and not crumbling.
Right.
So I think that helps answer.
Especially whenever the other team makes adjustments. We've got to be making adjustments too. And that's something that I really want to see in this UAB game, as I don't want to see any pick sixes. I don't want to see I want to see Talon, if he's in trouble, throw the ball away. I do not want to see Jaquindon Jackson fumble the football. And I want to see, I don't know if this UAB game is going to be close at the end. Hopefully it's not. But just moving forward in this season, I want to see Talon Green in close game situations and winning. I want to see him throw a touchdown pass. I don't want to see him throw a wide open Jaquindon Jackson in overtime, throw it at his feet. You know, like, we've got to hit those passes moving forward. And I mean, there's just so many things. I want the defense. If we're up by 3, or if we're tied and there's a minute or 2 minutes left, I want to see the defense shut the other team down. If it comes to the defense having to win the game, I want the defense to win the game. And that is something that I think the defense is getting a little overhyped here. They fell apart. The offense did too, but the defense went from not allowing any points to allowing 31 points in the second half. That includes 8 points in overtime. So you could make the argument that 24 points in the second half before overtime, but still, that went from 0 to 24. Now, the offense didn't do them much favors. Some of the fumbles or whatever were at bad spots. But again, like you were saying, when something like that happens, we have to respond. And that is just something that, I mean, moving forward, they have to respond when these things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, our game plan was to stop Ollie Gordon, right?
Mm-hmm.
For that last game. We did it. Now, how did they react to it? They're like, okay, good, and that's great. Gundy was like, all right, well, stop Ollie Gordon. We have other players we're gonna go towards. What did we do towards to combat that? Oh, all right, we're just gonna keep stopping Ollie Gordon. We're not gonna. I know you're forcing us to do this, but yeah, we're gonna keep it that. Didn't change, like you just said. We didn't change our game plan when the other team changes the game plan, and needs to be adjusted accordingly. And because these teams are smart enough to, maybe like some of the smaller teams might not be, but the SEC teams, these Big 12 teams, they're smart enough to know when to change the game plan when it isn't working, and what to do when their team, just to how to get out of it, which is what we need to learn from. And we need to be that team where if we're down, it's all right. We know how to make a comeback when we know how to alter our decisions for the better, not just coming into a solid game plan and executing it, but how to think about that game plan on the fly and executing that even if things aren't going right.
Yeah. And I was writing some notes here on the side too. By some of the stuff that you brought up made me think of a few other points, is especially responding to the game plan, like you brought up here at the beginning. And when they moved away from Ollie Gordon, and other teams, again, we're not going to focus too much on Oklahoma State, but this is important because other teams are going to do this too moving forward. If they're making adjustments, for example, our defensive line stopped the run great, but that was it. Like, our defensive line did not get any sacks. And I don't know if we got any pressures either on the quarterback. I don't know that stat for a fact, but it didn't really look like it. It looked like that we were having a hard time getting to the quarterback. And here's the thing. Oklahoma State does have a good offensive line, but we will face plenty of offensive lines in the SEC of that caliber or better. So that's very concerning, because your defensive line bails out your secondary. If your defensive line is not pressuring the quarterback and they have more time, wide receivers are going to get open. And so your defense is really as good as your defensive line a lot of times. And one other thing now to flip it to offense is Arkansas has not faced a good defense. Oklahoma State does not have that great of a defense. Their secondary we ripped apart. And guess who else ripped them apart? The Jackrabbits. The Jackrabbits ripped them apart. So I don't think we've played a real defense yet, and we're not going to next week against UAB. But moving forward, we're going to play better defenses, and I want to see how this offense responds to a better defense. So anything else you want to add to some of those things, or?
No, I agree exactly. As we get to Auburn, and not to look too far ahead, but like,
Right.
um, it is that executing that offense where it comes back to game plan changes, and it comes back to how if the defense throws something at you that you're not ready for, you didn't plan for, how are you able to make those adjustments? If it's
Right.
Jaquin Jackson, if it's a receivers, any of the receivers, how do we change it up where it's not Taylor Green just kind of scrambling for his life and then making bad throws?
Right.
It's him making the right decisions. If it is scramble, him making the right decisions in that scramble. If it is a run, it's offensive line holding up that line to make those runs happen. Because like you said, that defense could have easily taken Jaquin Jackson, and I played some of those plays, and that defense or in Oklahoma State could have easily taken Jaquin Jackson down with our offensive line.
And what do
Creating
you
gaps.
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so when I was replaying the game, it looked like, oh, Jaquin Jackson is playing an amazing game, right? However, he was hitting holes that were missed due to the Oklahoma State defense just running at him straight instead of kind of holding that line. It wasn't us technically.
Yeah.
Our offensive line was kind of moving out the way almost, and that's where Jaquin was able to create that hole. I don't think we're going to be that lucky in facing Texas or these big teams.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That was something I noticed too. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. The offensive line does look a lot better than last year, and they did have some good moments. But like you just said, the Oklahoma State defense also has some really bad moments. And that's what I'm trying to get at here is that we have not played a super competent defense. Like, I think that Oklahoma State is going to get scored, like 30 points is going to be dropped on them fairly regularly. I don't think that we're going to be the only team that has scored over 30 points on them. I just don't. And that doesn't take away anything that we did. Like, that's still nice to see us looking competent on offense, getting a bunch of offensive yards, but I'm just not convinced that we're going to be able to do that week after week. And it's going to come up to our defense and offense at the end of games. They have to be able to close. We are coming up on some close games. We have to win close games. And I want to see Talon win a close game, because if it gets to the point where Talon can only play the first 3 quarters or the first 2 quarters, but he's nowhere to be found in the 4th quarter, that's a problem. In special teams, let's not forget about that.
Let's forget about them.
Oh my goodness. What? I mean, we've got to have a guy, a kicker that we can trust to kick it. It's either we're kicking or we're not. It's not going back and forth going like, oh, well, we'll kick this time, we'll go for it next time. No, you have to be solid on your special teams of, do we trust our kicker or do we not? It can't be just back and forth, flopping and back and forth. I know I just said that 3 times, but I'm just trying to hammer the point there. And one other thing about special teams, we better not see anybody getting blocked near the receiver or near Centennia, the punt return man, again at all this week or next week or any week. That if these coaches are not seeing that, that is a big problem.
No, I think the kid that kept doing that is a freshman, and I think the coaches all clearly saw that, and I think that will be improved as a
I hope they did.
Mistake. It's a freshman mistake on a big game in his first big game. That
but did it happened more than once? This didn't just
Right.
and
But
I was
this is
seeing it with
this
my friends. Like we were
this comes
seeing that
down to the
multiple
in-game
times.
adjustments that we were talking about, right?
Right.
In-game adjustments
Exactly.
were not happening.
Right.
Um, whether it's on special teams, whether it's on defense, whether it's on offense, in-game adjustments were not happening throughout the
Mhm.
board. And so I hope that they figure it out before the game, and I think they will with this freshman. And but it's in-game adjustments that I keep hammering, but they are gonna need to improve.
Right.
Whether and also the kicker. I know we had initially talked about us going forward on 4th and 5 was a great idea,
Yeah.
and I still think that, but I think we got to have confidence in our kicker as well. Even if he
Right.
misses a kick, we gotta.
And that
As much
game
as
might have been over if we had kicked that. Like that
right,
game may have been out of that. Those 3 points may have made that game out of reach for Oklahoma State.
yeah, we
So
just gotta
that's
have
the other
confidence in
thing.
our team. When things don't go our way, have the confidence in the team for them to realize
Hmm.
it's not going our way, and for them to realize, hey, we can fix this. We can come
Right.
back and win this game. It doesn't matter if we're down. We're that team. We're those guys.
Right. So Sid, let's end here on what did we see positively about that game moving forward that we need to see more of throughout the rest of this season? What was it that they did great that we need to keep seeing more and more and more of moving forward?
I think coming up with a game plan. I mean that's again. I said that earlier, but
Hmm.
that against UAPB we executed flawlessly. Great. Against Oklahoma State, first half executed flawlessly. We stopped
Yep.
Ollie Gordon. Our offense was doing firing on all cylinders. Our defense was firing on all cylinders. I know we had
Right.
that pick in the first half, but outside of
Hmm.
that, like we were firing on all cylinders according to the game plan. And
Hmm. The
and
game
and
plan, as you're
so
saying, yeah, the game
and
plan was working.
exactly. And so the
Hmm.
game plan I think is on
Preparation
every
A plus.
preparation week after week will be key, and
Hmm.
that's going to be the key takeaway I think for everyone, for offense, for defense, for special teams. That preparation is that A plus.
Hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on all of that. I love Jaquindon Jackson. I think that he's a beast, and if he can hold on to the football, he will be very scary. If he can stay healthy and last through the whole game, he did miss part of the end of this game. If he can stay through the whole entire game, he's going to be a problem. Um, so I think that Jaquindon is a great back. If we can keep him healthy, awesome. Taylon Green, I can see that he wants to throw those deep balls, and there are times that he throws a great deep ball to some wide open guys, and that our receivers are capable of getting open. Tesla, great catches. Broden gets open, but he needs to catch the ball. But he gets open, so
Yeah,
that's a good thing. Our receivers get open, and Talon, if he's in trouble, he can escape, he can run, and there's great design run plays for him. And that option, that was lethal. And I'll also give this credit to Talon too in this game. His decision making, when to hand the ball off and when to keep it, there were so many great plays that he held onto the ball right as the running back was getting tackled by a defender, and Taylor would run for 6 yards or 7 yards or some sort of gain where if he would have let it go to the running back, it would have been stopped right there. So great awareness on Taylor for that. I want to see more and more of that. And so there's a lot of positives to take from this moving forward. There's a lot of things to fix, but like man, if they can get some of these little things fixed, there's a lot of positives that they can keep rolling through, and they can be a good football team. So
for
I mean
sure.
that's what gets me hyped about this is that there is potential. It's just they got to get these little things fixed, and other than that, getting 600 total or 648 total yards of offense. Let's keep it rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling for next couple games.
Yeah, I think Petrino's offense. I'm definitely liking in
Hmm.
that they're going after it and not
Yep.
being afraid, and it's not the same plays over and over. It's
Nope.
it's it's decisions that are
It looks beautiful at times, man. It looks
Exactly.
beautiful.
I think it's under his first year and under his offense. This is looking good so far. I think this just needs to be fixed in game if things don't go our way. I'm gonna keep hammering that. Taylor Green continuing to having to fix. Um, if the pass isn't there, don't hold on to it, don't run back, and just get sacked. Be able to throw it away out of bounds, and he'll learn from that. I mean, I
Hmm.
think as games go on, I think this was his first true test. We talked about this after UAPB,
Yeah.
his true test under pressure, how he can do, and for majority of the part, he did great.
Yeah.
I think it's those minor fixes that he's going to have to
Right.
do in throwing it out of bounds, not holding on to it for too long, not getting sacked,
Yeah.
and if that's executed, I don't see us losing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, people watching the game. I had multiple people come up to me about the game. Unfortunately, I didn't really want to talk about it, but what they were saying is like Taylon Green looks good. So like overall, Taylon had a good game. It's just like Sid was saying, those minor little fixes can make a huge difference between a good game and a great or phenomenal game, especially at the end of the game. We got to see Taylon show up at the end of these games, and it will make a huge difference in the overall perspective of him, the command of the team, everything, or the demeanor of the team, everything. It says a lot what you can do at the end of games. So, you have anything else to add to this, Sid, or you think we should close
Just
this
to
one
just
out?
to tap onto one more thing about Taylor Green, to
Hmm.
congratulate him on one more thing, was that there was all these talks about having Singleton and him and who's
Yep.
better and all that, and I think he did pretty good, and in
Hmm.
that he knows that Singleton's behind him. He knows all these fans are wanting. There's pressure on him to be great,
Hmm.
and to still be able to put up that many yards on offense, like it's something. And it can't you can't take that away from him.
Hmm. Hey, well said, man. We're rooting for you, Taylon. We're rooting for you. I guess with that, we're gonna head out of here. Please, again, like, comment, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and please follow us on our socials. X specifically, X is where we're gonna be doing a lot of posting and interacting. It'd be great to see, fans on there interacting with us. And if you're interacting with us, we'll give you back a follow and try to interact with you guys back. Again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy stuff like this. It's a lot of fun making these videos. And I guess with that, Heartbreak Hogs out. Oh, I see you want to say something. What's up, Sid? What's up? I
We gotta
was
give
gonna
a
close you
you.
out here.
I know. Before we close out, real quick, let's just give a UAB prediction, and
Oh, you're right. You're right.
it's a 24.5 point favorites that we are.
Yep.
Let's just go ahead and give out a prediction for this weekend.
You go first.
All right. So it's a home game, and it's a parents' weekend. It's first time in Fayetteville. The crowd's going to be rowdy. Crowd's going to be
Yep.
there. 24.5 point favorites. I
Yep.
think we're able to execute this plan flawlessly. I think.
Hmm.
I know you had mentioned previously these Alabama teams can never be too cautious of, and I
Yeah.
do think we cover the spread. I think we come out strong, and I think after last week, we, I hope so. We play the game from start till the finish,
Yes.
and with that, if we do that flawlessly, I do think UAB puts up a few points on us. They get to 17.
Hmm.
However, we get to 44, and it's 44-17 for me, and it's a flawless home game. And we
Yeah.
look at Auburn next week.
I think I I think that we either get to the 40s or maybe low 50s. So I'm just going to say the 50s. I'm going to say that Arkansas, they come out swinging. Originally, whenever we did our preseason, I said if we lose to Oklahoma State, I could see it falling apart. I've been seeing players post their support for Sam Pittman. in other things, which shows me togetherness for this team, that they're not falling apart. Just from seeing some of the optics of how they're already responding to everything, it looks like they're dialed in, and we got some leaders on this squad. So I'm changing that initial prediction from preseason to now. I'm going to say they're going to come out and they're going to come hitting strong. And I think that they win about like 52-7, maybe 52-3. I don't think that this UAB team is going to score more. I think they only get one score. It's either a field goal or a touchdown. It'd be great if we blank them. But I'm just going to say that I think the defense does show up. And yeah, I think that they're going to treat this like UAPB, where they're just going to go, and just keep going and run up the score, even if they have an opportunity just to get more reps in. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I'm saying 17 just because I think we do rest some people for looking forward to Auburn, and we do take a foot off the gas a little bit for Auburn, just to make sure players don't get hurt.
Yeah.
But I hope we do dominate, of course, and as we should.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that covers it all.
I'm always a little hesitant whenever we're resting players, because it's like, man, you need to get them in, because sometimes they come out and it's like a tale as old as time is like in the pros. Whenever they rest people for the playoffs, they come in and they're all rusty and they're not, fluid. But anyway, that's just a little side note of my opinion on that. But
Yeah.
I hope that, we look fluid. I hope that we get things rolling
sure.
and things get going. But with that, we're going to be out of here. I won't close out Sid again. So I think we both got everything out. Again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Peace.